Hi, my friend, it's Pat Sloan here. We have Midnight Moon, we have Secret Lives of Color, and a few other things, including a total finish for me, like hanging on the wall. I'm going to show you. So let's do Secret Lives of Color. So we're on number 35, which is still in the red section of the book. Okay, so here's the book that we're reading along with. I know some of you are just like reading the book. You're not even doing the sew along, which is so cool because reading just one story every so often is really fun. So the color is hematite, which is, when you look it up, you see other shades, not necessarily just red that comes up with hematite. And there's a lot of cool things talked about in here, a lot of the ancient history of the color. But there's also a couple of fun little things. It says here's, I'll just read a little passage. So why all the prehistoric fuss? The answer seems to lie in the human affinity for the color red. Most anthropologists and archaeologists believe that as the color of blood, red is associated with life, celebration, joy, danger, and death. So it's this color is interesting. It is sort of like dried blood in a way. That's kind of where the color goes. So what I did is I decided to use one of the fabrics that I've been gifted, with the lighthouses. I find it hard to find nautical fabrics in red. So if anybody ever sees it, let me know. And then I paired it with some of my Harmony wide back in pink. So here is my block, my shoe fly block for this color for hematite. Now I can sew another vertical section. This is, okay, so this is section, we're in the third row. This is the first section, and now I have enough with the little, the medium, and now the big to do the second section. So that's cool. I can get that sewn up. So I am doing that as we go along. And that plan is actually working out for me. I am keeping on top of it, which is good because other things, like I'm going to tell you, I'm not necessarily keeping on top of as successfully. Which leads us to the Midnight Moon. Where did I put the book? Okay, so Midnight Moon we're doing from the Summer Moon. This is a little obsessive project. You know, when this came out, I didn't know anything in advance. It was just like a week before it was going to start. I finally saw it, and I'm like, okay, I loved this quilt when it came out, but I couldn't work on it then. But I loved it even more when they showed it in the Halloween fabrics on the white, using fabrics from April Rosenthal that I had used for another quilt and loved the way it turned out. And so I'm like, okay, I'm just doing it. I'm just going to dive in. This is totally ridiculous for me to be working on this right now, but I'm doing it anyways because if I don't do it now, it just probably won't happen. And I'm thrilled that I'm doing it. I'm somewhat keeping up, but I have to adjust my plan. So what happened is, I'll give you a sec. Give me a second. I'll tell you the blocks for this coming week. But I did finish, like I showed you the other day, one of the small ones for Birds in the Air. This is Birds in the Air. And then I have the medium size for the Crown of Thorns. And I'm working on the others. Now I'm only doing 2 of the Birds in the Air because the bat will replace the large one. Anytime we're given a bonus, I'm taking advantage of it and not doing one of these to put the bonus in. So I have a little, some tips that I did for sewing with this, and so let me run those. As I'm working on the Midnight Moon, I thought I would just show you where I'm at and how I'm approaching doing these Birds in the Air because they are a little bit more intense with such a tiny, tiny half square triangle. So first of all, what I decided to do was to sew them in units of 3 by 3. So over here, this one is in progress. See, I don't have quite the 3 by 3 ready yet. So that'll be that unit here, 3 by 3. I've already sewn this half, and then I have that half to sew, plus the medium size one. And remember, I'm not doing the big one because I'm going to put the bat in that place in the quilt. And this is the other block, was a Crown of Thorns, which is you know, all 3 sizes, 1, 2, 3. So I've got a lot of work to do to keep on track, but I wanted to show you where I am with it because with these little guys, I decided to starch a lot of the fabric this time, and I'm happy I did. I wish I had starched it more. So let me show you. It's very hard to see how much starch I did, but this half here was starched, this half of this strip was still starched with this one spray. And it's a little firmer, and honestly, I thought it's not going to do anything. But when I went to press each of these flat, it pressed much, much nicer than without any starch at all. So it actually kept a nice firm crease, which I thought that is great. So what I did is I starched the other half here to just feel the difference. So you can kind of see it's not, it holds its form. Like I'm holding it like kind of straight. And on this side, I can't really get it to do that. It still bends a little bit. So this is starching it twice. And I think that would have helped even more with this tiny of a square. The other huge tip is that as you build each 3x3, measure it so that this is the size it should be, because it is hard, very hard to get this accurate. You end up shifting as you sew, and it just can be a mess. This one is not 100%. I'm a little shifted down here, but I might just go with it because it'll be sort of absorbed into the seam allowance, or I could just undo this seam here just a little bit and make it a little bit more narrow because I just sucked up a little bit too much. So this is the accurate size. It's not, you know, I've cut off a few points. I'm not worried about that. It's just what it is with this guy, with the little guy. I've also was sewing late at night, which with these little ones, with this much piecing, I should not do because I'm just not focused as much. So those are some tips, and I have a bit more to sew, and we'll see if I get it done before I'm showing you this on Saturday while you're watching it. All right, let me just tell you a little bit about how I work. I am not on this quilt looking for total perfection, which is good because I don't have it. And at some point, I just realized that these smaller blocks, the way Carrie Nelson did the pattern, is that they will have a surround. They will have a border around them, like you can see on this one. See, there's a border. Where's the little one of these? I can't find it quick. I think it, well, anyway, there's one. See, there's has a border around it. So that means it doesn't need to be exactly the size, because I can use the border to trim it to the next size that it has to be. So I've already cut off enough points on this one, on the one outer edge, that I can't get it any smaller without doing some more, you know, work that I don't want to do. So when I put this on here, it is, whoops, it is supposed to be, it's about a 1/4 inch actually too big. And that's fine because it will get this outer border. And I'm happy with that. I'm happy with the way it looks. I think visually in the quilt is going to be spectacular. And so I am not fussing with it anymore. You know the saying, you know that saying, fish or cut bait? Yeah, I'm at that point. Do one or the other. Either take it all apart and start again, or just use it as it is. I'm good to go. This one is being used as it is. The biggest thing that I've found, let me just put these up here sort of in their spot on the wall, is the biggest thing I found, I cut those last week and I had them all ready to go. It was awesome. I was so stoked. I was like, okay, I got this done. That was fun. I enjoyed it. I did not sew on it at all until like Friday. And that's not going to be helpful. That's when you have to do 6 blocks in the week. That is not helpful, particularly when like this time there were so many little pieces. So like right now, here is the medium-sized bird in the air. So I'm working on this section, is actually under the needle. And then the other is all cut, and the half square triangles are made, just not pressed. So these are the large and the small from the crown of thorns. Now this week we have, they're a little bit, let me get the note here. They're a little bit easier. So yeah, these blocks have some pieces to them, just saying. So there's a split 9 patch and a twin star, which to me feel a lot better than the birds in the air, which is was a lot of pieces. Okay, so I am once again going to cut those up today. So I'll have them all cut. I'm going to finish the others from last week, and then I must work on them during the week and not just wait till the end, because, you know, the other thing I've noticed is I did look ahead a bit to the sashings and stuff like that, and I thought, okay, maybe I do the sashing on one or two of them. I don't know when I'm going to do that since I'm doing other things, but anyways, I thought about it, and then I realized, you know, I'm just going to wait because I have to drag all the fabric out. The fabric I'm doing for this project is not here in my room, which I rarely work like this. I rarely leave the fabric in the other room. But right now, it's not only in the other room, but it's in the basket under the second level. Like there's a basket on top, basket on the bottom, and it's not easy to get out of its spot. So every time I want to cut the fabric, I have to sort of take time to go dig the fabric out. This is also not a good plan. I'm not sure that I'm going to change it right now. I actually thought about switching the baskets around so that the other one, I have the smaller one on the top, you know, but maybe I should put the bigger one on the top while this project is going on so that at least it's easier to get out. You know, just save myself a little bit of rigmarole, because if you put obstacles in your way to doing your quilting, they will stall you. You know that. If you can't clear off, you know, if your table is piled this high and you can't get to the cutting surface, you're just not going to cut because you have to move everything. If you've got stuff piled on the floor, you can't sort through things because there's just too much of it. You know, we have all these obstacles that we kind of build for ourselves sometimes, not on purpose. They're usually by accident or just the way things happen. But if we can remove those obstacles, so I've thought about it. I looked around and thought, well, could I move something in here I'm not really working on and pull all that there's just a large amount of Halloween fabric. And then I thought, well, could I just bring the whole basket in here for the rest of the project? I could just put it on the floor right here. And that is a possibility, and I might just do that. That basket might just have to live there, or it could live under the table. Here, I'll move my big body here. It could just go under this table. I can't block the vent. There's a vent to this room, and I need the air, believe me. So I might put the basket under there just while this project is going on, so that if I just get a few minutes and I think, okay, I can cut some stuff up, I can get to it easily. So anyways, that's just a little thought, a long thought actually, by the way, about obstacles, just because they are actually happening to me right now on this project. Okay, so let's talk about something fun. A finish, total finish. Now I've shown you the finish, my red and white Woodland Wonderland version. And let me just do this little clip and show it to you hanging on the wall. Here it is, hanging in my kitchen. This is the counter area, and then back into the dining room and living room over there. So I have this sign from a long time ago from Ackfeld. They don't sell those anymore, but they do custom signs, so you could get a custom sign made. But there we go. Isn't it awesome? Look at that. So excited about it. Get in up close. Yes. So I'm just going to go into my sewing area. So around the wall there. So now you can see, this is how I can see it from my sewing area. There is my pantry, the hallway, quilts. Oh, nice, nice, nice. And let me show you the label. The sleeve is stitched right here, and the label is on. So you can see I wrote just in that little border, I put along the random block. Like if I want to put more info, I put down here. And this is what I used today. This happened to be what I grabbed. I either use a fine Sharpie, or this is a Pigma, and it's also very fine. So you can see that. And I'll give it a heat press. So fun, so fun, so fun. I love it up there. Now, a few of you asked me, did I write a pattern for that layout? And no, I did not, because I went into my bin of blocks. These are all miscellaneous blocks, and pulled out random red and white ones of random sizes, and just sort of, you know, made it happen on the wall, ergonomically, there's a word. So I did not write a pattern for it or anything. I just sort of mashed it up the best I could. And I may have chopped some stuff off, so the sizes might be kind of weird and wonky. So that's there's no way, there's no layout for that. But you can certainly do the same thing yourself. You just take your blocks up on the wall and sort of build around them into sections that can then be sewn together. It's really very fun to work like that. Okay, I have an epic mail call. It's epic because it's funny. I have a funny story this time on the mail call. I will leave that part till the end, the funny story part, because it just cracks me up. Okay, so the first thing I have is from Sue in New York, and everybody sends such lovely cards, so adorable, and sweet notes. And then she sent me some selvages, so I've got a nice bag of them. Look at there, some moss. Those are moss, right? I can't tell the difference, but you all seem to be able to tell the difference. So that is cool. And she sent me this wonderful, wonderful pink flamingo fabric. A nice big chunk of it, because when I make that pink flamingo quilt, guess what's going to go on the back? And it says, "Party like a flock star." This is so cute. Thank you. Mwah. Ah, so cute. The second one, there are 3, is from Letitia in Virginia. Yay, Virginia. And she sent this super cute card. Look at this. It's a cat topiary. Oh, that's so cute. And then she also sent me a beautiful selvage. Look at those. Look at the leaves on there. I love those leaves. And she had squares from the purebred, which was the horse fabric that I'm going to work with. These are from the first line that the designer did. She did 2 lines. I have the second line. So this is going to work perfectly, which lets me sort of mix and match a bit and get the best pieces from both of those. So thank you so much. This is really going to be awesome. Okay, now here's the third one, which is epic because of the story that comes with it. Not the story from its sending, although that's pretty good too, but this is what happened when mail comes at our house. This I have to tell you, because I don't open the mail. Greg opens the mail, and then sometimes there's business stuff and things like that, and he sorts it out and does all that. So he brings me this box saying to me, "Oh, I think it might be okay." He says, "I don't think they've melted much." And I'm like thinking, what? Did somebody send me ice cream? You know, you can't, we have gotten Omaha steak, so, you know, we, as a gift from some family members, and so we know that you can send, you know, stuff frozen. And I'm thinking, somebody sent us a box of ice cream? That's so cool. And so he sets it down, he goes, "Let me open it." He goes, "This still feels pretty cold." And I'm like going over there going, "Oh, wow." So I touch the box, and the box doesn't feel cold at all. And I'm like thinking, he's just making this up. Because, you know, that's what he does. And I come from a family where nobody really, aren't people who play jokes in my family. It's just not the way they're hardwired. My youngest brother is, but, you know, the rest of us were like, this didn't happen. So it wasn't until I met Greg's family where the jokesters arrived in my life. It still throws me off guard. And we've been married a long time. So anyways, in the box is from my wonderful friend Brenda in Maine. And Brenda is one of our wonderful ambassadors. She sent along this cute card with it. Ta-da! But when I was looking for the horse fabric to use as a border, she said, you know, I have some fabric that I made curtains with years ago, and if you think it'll work, it looks really similar. So it's not from the same line, but it has a really similar feel, and it is a little bit different weight, which I'm totally fine with. It's a little bit more home dec weight, but look at this. Look at this. Is this not awesome? And look. I can use some of it for backing, and I definitely use it for the border on the quilt for my my great niece, my niece's daughter. Isn't that the coolest thing? So there's a huge, nice big chunk of it here, and I will enjoy that and the other pieces that you have all sent me for the horse thing. So that has to move up on my list, I think. I've got to do that sort of as a side project, figure out what quilt. A couple of you even sent me ideas for quilts that were really cool. I think I'm still going to do the one from the book, but I don't know which one. So that'll be one day. I'll figure that out. Okay, my friend, you're going to do your block for the Secret Lives, and if you are crazy like me doing the Midnight Moon from the Summer Moon book, you have Oh, well, you have two new blocks for this week, but if you're like me and you haven't finished last week's, we're gonna get it done, get it done, get it done. And what do you think? Vote. Tell me, leave me a comment. Should I bring the basket of Halloween fabric out here for working on this? What do you think? Thumbs up, thumbs down. Leave me a comment. I love you. Mwah. Thank you for being here in the Sloan Zone. I will see you online.